Hello everyone and welcome back to Celeste. Today we are conquering the Chapter 4 B-side. Now this B-side is an actual pain towards the end and also in the middle, but we'll get there when we get there. As for this part honestly was not too bad. It actually isn't that bad, but it's actually a great way to get used to the kind of orb mechanics here. Because a lot of the time with the orbs, they're not just going to go up or down or left or diagonally up or diagonally. You have to actually do a downwards diagonal on the orb, which I am not used to doing at all. As you can see, I am getting frustrated. That's why I'm doing very silly things like dash jumping for no reason. And as you can see, still not working. We know it will work. This part is actually very easy. Most of the time this B-side was very relaxing, but there are some sections that, yeah. So this is going to be more of my thoughts on Chapter 4 B-side. I did not actually do any me actually going through all of these, because if I had to do commentary and try to beat any of this B-side, it would be impossible. Yeah, but this part honestly isn't actually that bad. I just gotta get used to the game, like so. Now this part was actually really fun. Honestly, I like the way this part works. All it is just jumping on platforms. And I failed. But that's because I wanted to show you exactly what this is all about. So this part is actually foreshadowing for another part, which all I have to do is just do a perfect dash right there, and then we should be fine. This part, all you're doing is jumping on platforms as they keep going, and then you want to time a dash. Now you can either dash above the spike or go below the spike. I like to go below because it feels easier to time. And then you have to kind of land on this tiny platform, and do not dash there. You just want to jump over the final spike. Then use your dash to get to the wall and climb up, which is a lot easier said than done. That's for sure. Okay, this part is always making me nervous with the whole having to go below things, but there is a much harder version of this part later on. This stage really has taught me that with little determination and practice, you can actually win at Celeste. I know, it's crazy. And boom. That part is now complete. Okay, so this part is actually not too bad either. All it is just some simple jumps. The hardest part is actually past this part where you have to wall jump here. This is actually pretty tricky here. But luckily, it is not too bad. Because if you just dash here, and then boom. Easy. This part, honestly, the hardest part is trying to get this block into the right section. Because that took me quite a while to actually figure out. And it's that final area that is the trickiest. And then jumping onto that was actually pretty insane. But then after that, executing it is pretty easy. Now this part is actually pretty easy. All you have to do is basically go with the flow. Keep going like that, and like that. Here, what you want to do is just go against the wind. This is an in-between section, so it's much easier than the rest of the level. As you can see, I did it within maybe 15 attempts. Not too bad at all. Actually, most of this B-side is not too bad at all. This part is actually kind of tricky. You basically want to make sure that you have a dash there. And I almost died there, but it's okay, because you can actually just dash up like that, which is pretty insane. Now this part is an actual pain, because what you have to do is grab onto the wall, and then grab on, and then go up, and then jump to the opposite side. Then do the same thing. You have to dash up and then switch to the right side as soon as possible. I can't tell you how many attempts it took me to do this. It took me at least 30 minutes to do this part. As you can see, I am struggling here a lot. So what you want to do on this part is you want to kind of jump around again. Well, it's going up, so you have enough momentum, and then jump to the right side and grab it, which is a lot easier said than done, because if you don't, then you hit the spike on the left side. Like, I thought this part was insane, honestly. Like, I really thought this was like the peak of difficulty for this entire stage, but no, it gets way harder, and the dreaded pink clouds return for revenge. As we all know, I hate the pink clouds so much in this game, and it isn't just the pink clouds issue. I hate cloud jumping in any video game. I hate how you have to time it, and you time it when it goes to the bottom. And here I thought I was gonna die, but luckily the ending section is super easy to get past. Luckily, this part was actually more fun than it was frustrating. You just gotta land on that tiny platform, hit the spring a little bit, and then you go to the orb, and if you do the sequencing perfectly, like so, then you land on this platform, and boom. That one, you just want to do it in the correct order. This part is also super easy. These mini jumps look hard, but if you just hold forward completely with the joystick, you'll always land on them. That part you also want to hold forward to complete the entire time. And you can see how merciful this part is because of how it just let me grab that block again and use the dash orb to continue it. This part, I would say, this is a transition part, so it's not too bad. I think the hardest part is actually this jump that I'm doing right now, and then the other orb, because you have to do a downwards dangle dash, which we all know is my weakness in this game. But once you do that, this part becomes, I wouldn't say easy, I'd say you've done the hardest part of this entire section. Yeah, and then you just grab onto the wall, then go back, and then dash to the left. Yeah, this part is much trickier than I remember. I keep forgetting. A lot of this stage is filled with some hard parts like choke points within the sections. That they're long is the issue. Like, the choke point here is right there. Like, if I had known. This part was just fun to figure out. So you actually have to go above, like right there, and then go back down. I remember feeling so cool when I actually figured it out. This part just flows wonderfully. So you always want to make sure that you dash right away so you can hit this platform at the top before it goes past these spikes. And you go like that, one dangle dash, and then a simple dash, which you don't actually need to do. The hardest part of this part is these two jumps. So you want to make sure you land in between these spikes, crouch right there, then jump here. Now the first time I did this, I thought I was gonna die. So I'm a bit freaked out here, but what you would do is you like kind of just need to make sure you grab the middle block when you can, and then you live. This part was a pain. I honestly don't know why they thought this was a good idea, but... So what you have to do is move this block around, and you have to do perfect cloud jumps so you can catch up to it. And it's a nightmare. So what I always do is I do a perfect cloud jump. I always make sure that when you jump on the initial platform, you don't want to jump in the middle. You want to jump as close to the side as possible so that when it goes up, you want to actually make it sure you can hit that block in time. But the easiest way to do the first part is actually to ignore the block, dash above it, and use a cloud to move this block out of the way right away. Then jump down to the block that you're going to lift up. And by doing that, you can actually bypass that part. However, I do it the harder way because of the way it flows, which flows better with the rest of the level, which allows this part to be easier. And I was so close there. So close. You gotta really make sure that you're bracing the block. This is a competition, not some like gentle stroll. If you do not make sure you're ahead of this block, you cannot use it as a platform. You also gotta make sure that it doesn't get crushed by the other walls. And this part, I have no idea, but I just squeezed right through there, which I don't think that was supposed to happen. This part is super easy, just a dangle down dash, a few dashes up. The hardest part is just this dangle down dash, and then trying to hit the third orb, and then going down, that's also tricky. Other than that, fairly easy. This one is another breather section. The wind goes on and off, so paying attention to the wind and how it blows you is the key to success. Even grabbing onto this wall is what you do here. And then I just made sure that the wind would benefit us here. Now this is a nightmare of a section. That's why you see all that flashing. Because it's all like, oh, because I don't like you. No, it's because I saved so many clips of this. I was like, did I save a clip? Did I save a clip? Because this is insane. This entire section is what I would call neutral pink cloud jumps mixed with actual pink cloud jumps. So for this jump, at the start, you don't actually want to do the cloud jump perfectly. You actually want to land on it and fail it so that it does a fake one so you get less height, which is very tricky to do. Then you want to do a perfect jump here, and then you have to do a perfect jump around here, then go around the spikes, which is just ridiculous, honestly. But this is not the hardest section of the stage. The hardest section of the stage is coming up very soon. You have to do these neutral jumps, and then do this jump, and then you have to perfectly go around here, then do this orb. And then when I got here, I was freaking out, but I just kept going. You want to do neutral, neutral, and then one big jump. Then I did a dangle dash, which I canceled out quickly. And then this part is just pure evil. Pure evil. So at first, on the second orb, I thought you had to like dangle dash to get past the spikes, which means I kept dying and dying and dying. I had to look up a walkthrough for this part. It's kind of ridiculous. So you have to kind of like use the orb and then jump up, and then you go to the side and jump up here, and then you have to hold but not hit the spikes there. Then you have to jump up there, jump up there, and go to the right. It's insane. You know, up here, I don't know. So what happened is I was doing this part for like about an hour, then I gave up. And this final clip that you're seeing right now, this clip is when I actually did it after about maybe 10 or so minutes of actually practice. Once I got the muscle memory back, this part isn't too bad. But if you are struggling on this part, I just recommend practice, practice, practice. And don't practice each section, because I know you can skip to another section if you want to. I've always practiced it as a sequence, because once you do it for real, you're going to mess up a certain part. So it's better if you mess up a part in the sequence than if you're practicing another part, then forget another part in the sequence because you think it's easy. No part in this sequence is easy. This entire part does not hold your hand at all. Even here, you have to do a dangle dash and a perfect do here. And then this part freaks me out, but you just gotta grab onto the wall and you're done. Now this is a nice breather section. The hardest part of this section was doing the dangle down, doing the dash right there. And then once you hit this wall, it's super easy. However, I had no idea that the wind would die right there. I just jumped and hoped for the best. And I had no idea the wind would come back. I just dangle dash desperately, and I actually managed to do it, which is cool. This section is super easy. You just have to make sure that you are dashing forward on these orbs, and then you grab the dash here, and well, that is how you die, of course. But yeah, the hardest part is actually grabbing the heart, which you just gotta time out the dash perfectly, which I believe I do here. Very, very easy. Anyways, unfortunately that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. And according to the game, we have flash warning. This clip is glitched out. There is 843 deaths. Anyways, I'll see you next one.